I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry. Oh, I got it to work.
Okay,
So we're live streaming now. We're live streaming now. And so one person is watching. So I need you to do me a favor. Are you able to just hold this up? I'm going to just closer to the stage.
Yeah. Gonna work my way around down there.
Yeah, but I was like, it's a good thing I did it.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing I brought my laptop.
We're here at Boston Independent Drivers Guild. Massachusetts not for sale. Live stream. Can I do a quick intro?
Oh, sure. Good morning, everyone. We're here. This is Beth and Dave is my camera guy for the Boston Independent Drivers Guild. We're live here this morning. We're so excited. You know, Representative Lydia has listened to her already. We're so grateful. And Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley is endorsing our non-stop for sale campaign. And we're so excited to be here and for the endorsement to really hear about drivers, to hear about the implementation. We're constantly excluded on a daily basis. So thank you everyone for tuning in and bear with us until the event starts. Make sure you got your favorite brunch items, your mimosas, your hot chocolate, your Irish coffee, whatever you like. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be with you again soon. You know, we're also going to talk about who won the $50 cash app.
I know.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to wait to get that one driver to the
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? All right. Listen, we're going to get this party started shortly, but all speakers that are going to be representing with us today, we're going to ask you to come to the stage. Our Congresswoman is here, so we'll be getting started within another minute or so. Thank you.
I'm doing streaming.
Aló. Mi gente que habla en español, ¿cómo estamos? Levantemos las manos. Estamos aquí, mi gente. Hay una amiga ahí atrás que va a ayudar con la interpretación. Entonces, si quieren escuchar esto en vivo, en español, la amiga ahí atrás puede ayudar. Gracias.
All right. Guess now's the time to call. My name is Wes Cassidy. I'm the campaign director of Sales. We are a growing coalition of both consumer groups, environmental groups, civil rights groups, and you guessed it, labor groups, what many others. And we're here, we're all united, strong opposition to the big tech loophole law that's going to hurt Massachusetts drivers, consumers, and that would undermine our democracy. And we're honored to be joined today by some incredible speakers, including Senator Lydia Edwards, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. I want to run through a little bit with the ballot question last year. There's a lot of lies, I think, in with mischaracterization of the media. So first, this ballot question is going to be dangerous for workers. An independent study by UC Berkeley has made clear that if this initiative passes, Uber and Lyft employees will make as little as $4.82 an hour. Now, that's unacceptable, and frankly, not a way to allow workers to survive in Massachusetts, as we all know, and how many people in this room here fought to raise it. Second, this ballot question is dangerous for consumers. Uber and Lyft are trying to avoid any legal accountability to their passengers, to local businesses, and to the general public by rigging the law in a way that makes it nearly impossible to hold these companies accountable for any negative impact their practices might have, including in the event of tragic accidents and where the companies have been negligent. We've seen one case in the Boston Globe, a young chef in Boston, Will Good, was trying to come home after a long day of work, got in an accident, now he's a quadriplegic, and Uber tells him that, tough luck, it's all in the driver. Yeah, right? That's the real consequence these companies are having. And third, the record-breaking amount of money that big tech is pouring into passing the ballot question is going to be a danger to our democracy. Uber, Lyft, Instacart, and DoorDash, they're willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars they already have to mislead drivers, to mislead voters about what this ballot question is really going to do. And it's not acceptable. And yes, they might have incredible financial resources, but the truth is priceless, and the truth is on the side of this. So thank you for coming. Yeah. And let me enjoy.
Let's give it up for the Massachusetts is not for sale team. Well, good morning, everyone. We didn't know what to expect with the weather, but we are here. Rain, sun, snow. I think it's a good day to stand up for workers. What do you think? Well, I am super excited to be here. My name is Mimi Ramos. I am the executive director with New England United for Justice. We are an organization working to promote social, economic, and racial justice issues in the city of Boston, primarily focused in low-income communities of color. I am really honored to be here today alongside all of our workers, community allies, our labor allies, our civil rights leaders, and really excited to be here alongside a team of who I like to consider my she-wolves. So really excited to be here with the strength and breadth of our communities to stand up on this side of justice. We will be hearing soon from Congressman Pressley, Senator Edwards, and my sisters in service, Karen Maxwell and Beth Griffith. We are excited to be here and to again stand up on the right side of this issue. Before I go any further, I do want us to just acknowledge and give it up for the drivers who are in the house. We're not alone in this fight. We will work this fight together because we know when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And nothing is impossible. So I want to start today in that spirit. I'm speaking as a member of the Massachusetts is Not for Sale's Executive Board, as a leader just one of many, many organizations that are coming together across the Commonwealth who have joined this coalition to stand up once again for our fight to protect workers, to protect our communities, and to defend our democracy from big tech scams. The bottom line is that big tech is presenting drivers a false choice with their misleading ballot questions. But I know I am one voice of many to say that we are not going to be fooled and we will not be bought. There is no reason whatsoever that drivers should have to pick between setting their hours and receiving fair wages, benefits, and basic rights that every other employee in Massachusetts is entitled to under the law. These companies know that they're breaking the law. That is why they are trying so desperately to mislead the public in order to buy a change to the law. The truth is that this ballot question will take away basic worker rights from a workforce that is majority Black and brown and from immigrant communities. It would disproportionately harm workers of color and overturn decades of protection that the community, civil rights leaders, and labor advocates have fought long and hard to win. Many of us are in this room today. Opposing this ballot question isn't just a fight for economic justice, but it is a racial and social justice issue. And it is our duty in this room to educate and empower workers, our communities, and the voters behind the truth with what big tech is really doing in our neighborhood. So we are united in opposition to this corporate scheme, and we will need everything. This will be a fight, and I believe, because I've seen it done time and time again, that we can actually take on this fight. Are you with me? Yeah. I'm gonna have to say, is everyone with me? Yeah. I get the honor of inviting two amazing people, who I have had the chance to know and build with over time. So I'm going to invite Karen Maxwell, who is the Assistant Secretary of the Carmen's Union, ATU Local 589, and Beth Griffith, Executive Director of the Boston Independent Drivers Guild. Let's give it up for our leaders. Hello, everyone. Let's talk about some powerful stuff here. On standing on the stage, powerful women. You know. Well, hello everyone. I am Karen Maxwell, the Assistant Secretary of our great union, Boston Commons Union, Local 589. Yeah. I am here because this ballot question represents an existential threat to all our workers here in Massachusetts. That's right. Right? Let's think about that. Every day that these big tech companies continue to break the law means even more vehicles on the road are being turned into mobile sweatshops. Right? Okay. The bottom line is companies, well, there's tremendous amount of control. They have the control, much more than they admit to, over the schedules, driving habits, compensation, pay incentives, and working conditions of their employees. Even if these employees may not realize what they are fully entitled to under the law, they don't know, right? Consumers and workers deserve to know the truth. They deserve that. Big tech rideshare businesses model of extracting wealth from Black and brown communities by continually exploiting workers. And I'm gonna repeat that, exploiting workers.
And by over leveraging what is often one of their most valuable assets, their vehicle. It's a scam. It's a scam. The big tech loophole laws like Uber, Lyft, business models is also a scam. One that we are all so thankful to have strong allies like our Congresswoman Pressley standing against in unity with our growing coalition. Thanks to the great allies assembled here today, I am confident that we will win. Together we fight, together we win. Thank you, Senator Edwards. Thank you, Congresswoman Pressley. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone assembled here, because it's so hard. Thank you, everyone that is assembled here, because you believe workers' rights are more important than CEO profits. Right? We want to send a message that if you live here in Massachusetts, our home, where we put in the work, again, our home, companies will have to follow the law and treat our workers fairly. So I'm going to say again, together we fight. Together we win. Thank you. Standing along the side of another great woman, it's my duty and honor to recognize and bring up Beth Griffith. Yeah. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. My name is Beth Griffith, Executive Director of the Boston Drivers Guild, and I've been a driver. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. And I've been a driver for Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash for more than 7 years. And we've been organizing drivers in support of working protections for many years now. When we drive for these big tech companies, we all see them take a huge chunk of our earnings for themselves. These corporations, I like to call them vulture capitalist corporations, make billions. And today, you know, it's March. It's Women's History Month. And I just get a little emotional here with Representative Edwards, Representative Pressley, because growing up, they are living proof of what activism in the labor movement and in the civil rights movement, in the social justice movement can do. We're here, they are here. They are living proof that activism works. And that when you fight for your rights, when you fight for social justice, when you fight for racial justice, when you fight for equity, when we fight for equality, we can and we will win. But we have big tech trying to come into our state, trying to come into our city and erode years and years of labor protection, civil rights protection that people have spilled blood for and fought for. And I'll be damned and will be damned if we let that happen. Because when we fight, when we fight, and I just want to give a big, big thank you to our coalition and to receive the endorsement of such a formidable fighter for working people as Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, and with advocates like Representative Pressley and Senator Edwards on our side, big tech is going to have a much harder and harder time feeding drivers the lie that they're on the side of work. Thank you so much to everyone here for your partnership and your support in this campaign. And let's win this fight. And now I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Senator Lydia Edwards.
Before I get into my remarks, my sister in service on the city council, newly elected, and Laura. My novio Raul Fernandez from Brookline, also running for state. I wasn't sure if there's other elected, but I want to make sure I called them out. But trust and believe, there are a lot more of us who support this coalition. We are all over the state, if not all over the country. And I just want to say, you know, just to echo what you said, Beth, you are completely right. I would not be here but for workers' rights. I would not be senator for East Boston. I would not have been the city councilor for East Boston, Charleston, and North End, but for workers' rights, but for worker centers, but for undocumented workers, but for women workers, but for Black and brown workers, but for union workers. I would not be here. So I am saying thank you to them. And I'm also saying I'm going to stand firm, tall, and in solidarity until and when we win. The facts are simple. This state and our recovery at this moment is headed in one direction, and big tech wants to take us backwards. Yep. Everything and every movement I have been blessed to be a part of, domestic workers, we were leaning into and wanting to be seen as full workers, full employees because of the rights that flow naturally from that title. The fact is, being an employee is a matter of rights, not using the word benefits. We have rights that we are fighting for. We are trying to extend those rights to working people right now. Those rights that flow automatically, access to the MCAD so you can fight a discrimination case, getting unemployment, getting workers' comp, getting minimum wage by the title of employee, you get those things naturally. And naturally, big tech wants to talk around, and we'll talk about those lies that they're spreading, but one of the biggest ones is that they're trying to make sure that all their workers get better. Biggest lie I've ever heard. And also stop using that word. We want them to have rights. We absolutely want them to have rights. Our state is headed, the arc of our moral universe is headed towards workers' rights and employee status. When we did domestic workers, we're in the fight right now to make sure we get rid of tip minimum wages for a lot of our waiters and waitresses. Yeah. We're in the fight right now to make sure that regardless of where you're from, regardless of your immigration status, you can drive with freedom and dignity. We are in the fight to include more and to protect more people. And this is not part of our history, our narrative, part of our state in any way, shape, or form. The fact is the matter is we have the hardest fight in front of us. They know they targeted Massachusetts because we sued them. Thank you, Attorney General Maura Healey. We sued them because we said you're violating our law. So they turned around and said, we will change the laws on you. And if we can change them in Massachusetts, we can change them anywhere. That's why we're a target. I want to be clear. We are a target because we have some of the best workers' rights in the country, right? Hard fought for, right? Hard fought for. So the fact is, they're coming here to target us, and if they can beat us here, they feel like they can win anywhere. We're not going to let that happen. They're also using this narrative about Black and brown workers and saying that they need big tech, since when, to help them to get their voices out there. Never, ever will I trust big tech to speak for, on behalf of, or with workers, period, regardless of the color of the economy. Never, ever. Matter of fact, if you want to talk to Black and brown union workers, they're right here. They're right here. We don't need big tech to speak on our behalf. We cannot trust them to speak on our behalf because we've already bailed them out. That's how big they are. When the recession hit, when we had to deal with this moment, and a lot of the independent contractors couldn't get unemployment because they were independent contractors, we, the federal government, thank you, Congresswoman Pressley, we did PUA. We did an extra version of unemployment. That means we bailed out big tech. We paid for those workers to get unemployment out of our tax dollars, which if they had been employees, big tech would have been paying into that system to begin with. We bailed them out already. I'm not trying to have a permanent bailout system in this state. I'm not going to do that. And they say, oh, we'll offer all these different kinds of versions of what you have. I don't need any watered down rights for workers. We need full rights right now.
All right.
For all that they're offering, for all that they're trying to do to parity everything that employees get, why? Why are you doing this? If you're willing to offer all this, do all these extra things, so why not just give them the title? Oh, we forgot to mention, if they give them the title, they have to pay taxes. They have to pay unemployment. They have to pay into workers' tax, employment taxes. That's what we're talking about. We cut their profit. I was at the director of Office of Housing Stability. I was trying to help an Uber driver find housing. I'm going to end this on that. He came in working more than 40 hours a week, 50, 60 sometimes. He showed me his paycheck, negative $3. How did that happen? Because not only do we have driven exploitation, it's a sharecropping system. It's a sharecropping system that we allowed to have because they rent the cars to workers. Let me repeat this. They are saying, oh, well, you're too poor to have a nice car, so we'll rent this car to you. But then, after the end of the week, we'll subtract the rental fees from the car and all the other fees, and then pay you. And that's how we ended up, after working 50 hours a week, with a negative check of $3. We do not allow sharecropping in this state. We will not allow it to flourish in this state. We're not going to bail out big tech in this state. We're going to fight like hell. And we're going to fight against those horrible narratives that exploit these workers. And you know, there's no other stronger fighter in this fight than my sister in service, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. She has been there before a lot of us have been there. And I want to tell you some of the fights that she's been part of. A lot of you don't know, whether it was for the firefighters here, and the article just came out today, whether it was for firefighters in the city of Boston, for domestic workers, also when she helped pass the resolution in the city council. It has been for waiters, waitresses, folks who have disabilities. Ayanna Pressley has had her finger on the pulse of dignity and respect for all workers. So it is my honor to introduce my Congresswoman, our Congresswoman, not just mine, Ayanna Pressley.
Feels good to be in community, feels good to be home, feels good to be with family. It's very appropriate that Senator Edwards would be the one to pass the microphone to me. Not only does she honor, as we're at the intersection of having wrapped up Black History Month and now Women's History Month, the long legacy of the role of women that Black women have played on the front lines for social justice as organizers and as truth tellers. When we're at the table, as Senator Edwards so eloquently embodies, we shake the table. And I thank her for being a pace setter in many ways, and again, a truth teller when it comes to workers' rights. But the other reason why it's very appropriate that we would be bookended here is we know something about improbable campaigns. Misinformation, movements being underestimated and being outspent. We know a little something about that. And we also know that you can never underestimate the power of And so we're here today as a demonstration and manifestation that organized power is realized power. And so I'm so happy to be here today with workers, with my siblings in the labor movement, with my fellow colleagues on the state and municipal level. Let me just make it plain. Workers' rights are civil rights. Workers' rights are civil rights. Now, I know that there are many narratives, and some of them are perpetuated in our history books, that would lead you to believe that the civil rights movement was that Rosa sat and John crossed a bridge and Martin marched, and suddenly there was liberation. We are still in the civil rights movement. Don't forget that the March on Washington was a march for jobs and freedom. And we are still marching that same march for jobs and freedom. Freedom as defined by economic justice. I'll paraphrase King, who talked about, what does it matter if we integrate a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a sandwich at it? What does it matter? Workers' rights are civil rights. Justice for workers is the bedrock of economic, racial, and social justice. I do want to say something, though, about workers. Very often when they are essential, as all of our drivers are, they are an invisible workforce. And I learned a long time in organizing, and I was challenged to sort of shift my verbiage. I used to say, I want to be a voice for the voiceless, and then an organizer reminded me that no one is voiceless. What they are, especially the marginalized. An invisible workforce is unheard. Can you hear us now? I also want to say something about that word worker. Just don't forget that every worker belongs to a family. Every family is a part of a community. So these fights are about the collective upliftment and advancement and peace of mind and justice and economic freedom for thousands. It's not just the driver. We are committed to you and your families and the communities of which you come from and contribute to every day. So that's why we're here, to say that every worker in Massachusetts and across the country deserves a job that guarantees a living wage, strong benefits, and safe working conditions, as Senator Edwards said, which should just happen naturally. We have become so accustomed, so normalized that we have to organize and fight and be in the resistance for our humanity and dignity to be seen, that you might get confused and buy into their narrative. This is not charity. We're not asking for their benevolence. This is what these workers and their families are owed. This is reciprocity. Reciprocity for a system paid into. For advances only made possible because of their labor. But again, we are not just here to affirm the essential nature and import of your labor. We're here because we give a damn about your lives. Many of the advocates and leaders behind me have been deeply involved in the fight to protect and expand the rights of workers in Massachusetts, and we will not allow that to work. As they used to sing in the freedom songs at that same March for Jobs and Freedom, ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We will not allow that work to be rolled back by enormous corporations whose loyalty is not to workers, but to that bottom line. We affirm that people matter more than profits. Yeah. And we reject the false choice between flexibility and critical rights and protections. We reject the idea that big tech is exempt from the requirement and responsibility to pay workers a living wage, provide paid leave, or to enforce anti-discrimination laws. We will stand up for the rights of workers, predominantly Black, brown, immigrant workers who are fighting every day to put food on the table, pay the rent, care for their children and loved ones, protect their own health and safety, making it possible for us to navigate this state, to get to our own health care appointments, to get to child care, to get to work, doing everything that they can as essential workers to take care of us, and they can't take care of their own families. That is unconscionable. That is an injustice. And the best and worst part of it is that it's 100% for them. And that's why we're here. Now, this is work in partnership with Senator Edwards and others that I led on during my time on the City Council. That work continues in Congress, from advocating for paid leave for every worker, to protecting the right of every worker to join a union, to introducing my legislation born out of great freedom fighters like Bayard Rustin, Dr. King, and Coretta Scott King, introducing a federal job guarantee to ensure that everyone who wants one has a good job with dignified wages, safe working conditions, health care, and other benefits. We are putting the rights of workers at the center of advocacy and policymaking, working to ensure those rights are protected and also expanded. We ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. We cannot go backwards in this fight. And so I'm proud to stand with these workers, these advocates, my siblings in the movement, in the labor movement, and the social justice movement, to protect the rights of workers here in Massachusetts. Today, we affirm that yes, we see you. We affirm your humanity, your dignity, and the contributions of your labor. But we are here most of all because we give a damn about your lives. And now, another truth seller and table shaker, me.
You know, I don't have much to say because no one's following that. So let's give it up again for our Congresswoman. Now, keep it brief, this is the end of our time together. We talked about in the beginning of this press event that we are going to need everybody in the room. Folks can visit MassachusettsIsNotForSale.org to get information, to get involved. But remember, it is going to take every single person in this room and beyond to get out into our communities, to share the truth and realities and welcome workers to this campaign and to this fight. We need to lead with what they want in this fight. We need to honor their voices, and we need to send a message. Uber Lyft, you cannot buy us. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
If we can just take a group photo real quick with the Congresswoman, folks, feel free to come to the stage. And Senator, please. Senator Edwards.
Gotta sit right in the spot where I need
Massachusetts, not for sale.